In July 2025, Sharon Brightwell of Dover, Florida, picked up her phone. On the other end, her daughter, crying, terrified, claiming she'd been in a car accident, lost her unborn child, and needed $15,000 immediately, or she was going to jail. Sharon heard her daughter's voice, distraught, desperate, begging for help. So, Sharon did what any mother would do. She sent the money. But here's the part that makes your blood run cold. Her daughter was completely fine. She was sitting at home, safe, unaware. The voice Sharon heard? It wasn't her daughter at all. It was an AI clone, built from just 3 seconds of audio. And Sharon is not alone. Not even close. Right now, in 2026, your phone is ringing 1,583 times every single second with calls designed to rob you, fool you, and destroy you. Laws have been passed. Billions of dollars have been spent trying to stop this. Governments have cracked down. Phone companies have been fined and shut down by the hundreds. And yet, it's getting worse. So today we're going to answer the question everyone is asking, but no one is actually explaining. Why in 2026 are spam calls not just surviving, but thriving? Stick around, because what's happening right now is far more terrifying than you think. Chapter 1. The numbers that should not exist. It's a normal Tuesday morning. You're making coffee. Your phone buzzes. Spam risk. You ignore it. Sit down. It buzzes again. Spam risk. You silence it. Go back to your coffee. By the time you finish that cup, 30 minutes have gone by. In those 30 minutes, scammers have made over 2.8 million phone calls across America. Alone. That's not an exaggeration. In 2025, U.S. consumers received 52.5 billion robocalls in a single year, according to the U-Mail Robocall Index. 52.5 billion. To put that in perspective, that's more calls than there are stars visible to the naked eye from Earth. More calls than there are grains of sand on most beaches. And it wasn't a fluke year. Americans received an average of 2.56 billion robocalls a month, the highest level in 6 years. But here's what really twists the knife. Unwanted telemarketing and scam calls surged 15.4%, making up 57% of all robocalls, up from 49% the year before. The problem isn't just big. It's growing, mutating, accelerating. 31% of American adults say they get at least one scam phone call every single day. For an unlucky 21%, it's several times a day. Think about that. 1 in 5 people in this country can barely sit down for a meal without their phone ringing with someone trying to steal from them. And it's costing people everything. The amount of money lost to scams that started with a phone call increased by 16% from the first half of 2024 to the first half of 2025. And among those who lost money, the average loss was $3,690. Regular people, average Americans, losing nearly $4,000 in a single phone call. Now you're probably wondering, how is this possible? We have laws. We have technology. We have the FCC, the FTC, the Do Not Call Registry, and years of government crackdowns. So why is it still happening? The answer will genuinely shock you. Chapter 2. The system that's failing you. Back in 2019, Congress passed a law called the Traced Act. It directed the FCC to require phone companies to implement stricter technology to regulate robocalls, including caller ID authentication. Sound good, right? The government saw the problem. Passed a law. Problem solved. Except here's where the story gets infuriating. Of the 9,242 voice service providers registered in 2025, only 4,084, just 44%, had properly installed caller ID authentication. Less than half. For years after the law was passed, less than half of phone companies were even following it. Teresa Murray, Consumer Watchdog Director for U.S. PIRG Education Fund, called it like the Twilight Zone. It's like building a wall around a city, only to have half the construction crews quietly tear their sections down at night. The regulators have tried. The FCC essentially shut down 1,388 phone companies it said weren't complying with the law. That sounds impressive. But consider, there is only one complaint filed for every 32,571 robocalls received in 2025. The enforcement is a drop of water in an ocean of crime. And just when a new rule was about to change everything, it got stopped cold. A new FCC rule was set to close a massive loophole in the Do Not Call registry. It would have stopped lead generators, companies that sell your number to dozens of telemarketers at once, from calling you legally. It was supposed to go into effect in January 2025. The day before it took effect, a federal court blocked it. Just like that, gone. But here's the failure that almost nobody is talking about. The one that industry insiders find most baffling of all. There's a database, a master list. It contains every single phone number that has never been assigned to any person, business, or organization. Numbers that exist in the network, but belong to nobody. Numbers that should never, under any circumstances, be used to make an outgoing call. Think about that for a second. If a number isn't allocated to anyone, why is the network letting calls from that number go through? It's a question so simple, so obvious, that when you hear it for the first time, your brain short-circuits a little. This concept is called a DNO list, do not originate. It's a database of numbers that should never, ever be the source of a phone call. Toll-free numbers, for instance, are designed purely to receive calls. They should never be calling you. Unallocated numbers, ones that exist in the system but belong to no one, should never dial out either. A DNO database catches spoofed calls using these ghost numbers instantly. No investigation needed. No AI required. No expensive technology. Just a simple check. Is this number on the list? If yes, drop the call. Done. The fix is almost embarrassingly straightforward. Over half of Americans don't even know they can report illegal robocalls. The system designed to protect you depends on you fighting back. But most people don't know how. So the calls keep coming. But broken regulation is only one piece of the puzzle. Because underneath all of it, there's a cold economic machine running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with one goal: to call you, over and over, until it works. Chapter 3. Why they will never stop calling. Here's the part nobody talks about. Spam calls aren't just a crime. They're a business. A highly profitable, ruthlessly efficient, almost impossible to shut down business. Synthetic identity kits used to launch scam operations are available on the dark web for as little as $5, with dark LLM subscriptions, the AI tools that power these scams, running just $30 to $200 a month. $5 for a kit that can target thousands of people. Compare that to the potential payoff. 1 in 3 people who engage with an AI-powered scam call end up losing money, with average losses topping $18,000 per victim. Do the math. Spend $5. Make $18,000. Even if you only succeed once in 1,000 calls, you're still printing money. On top of that, agentic AI, with superior reasoning ability, came to market in 2025 and has tipped the scales in favor of scammers by making spam calls more personalized to specific events like tax season and open enrollment, and utilizing real-time adaptation, demographic targeting, and caller ID cycling. These aren't random robot voices anymore. They know your name. They know your area. They call at the right time of year. They sound natural. They adapt. Spam callers have also adapted with new tactics like caller ID spoofing and SIM-based attacks, creating new gaps in protection. Your phone shows a local number. You pick up, and the voice on the other end sounds completely normal. That's by design, because scammers know exactly what makes you trust a phone call, and they've reverse-engineered every single one of those instincts. And now, they've added a weapon so powerful, so precise, that it has fundamentally changed the game. Forever. Chapter 4. The weapon that changed everything. As of December 2025, voice cloning has crossed what researchers are calling the indistinguishable threshold, meaning human listeners can no longer reliably tell a clone voice from a real one. Read that again. You cannot trust your own ears anymore. Scammers can now clone a person's voice using as little as 3 seconds of audio pulled from social media videos, voicemail greetings, or voice messages, and the technology copies tone, speech patterns, and accents closely enough that most people cannot tell the difference. 3 seconds. That's one short video you posted to Instagram. That's your outgoing voicemail message. That's a birthday shout-out on Facebook. Your voice is already out there, and someone may already have it. Scammers search publicly accessible social media, website audio, or voicemail greetings for audio clips. That clip is fed into an AI tool that learns speech patterns, accent, and mannerisms to create a highly accurate voice clone. Criminals then break into a victim's social media accounts, often through unsafe third-party apps, and steal additional voice samples. So now imagine this. You get a call. It's your son's voice, panicking, saying he's been arrested. He needs money now. Don't tell anyone. He's embarrassed. You try to call him back, but the call goes to his social media account. The same voice answers. From his account. It sounds like him. The message came from his account, but it's not him. Voice phishing attacks surged by 442% in 2025 alone due to AI-driven techniques. Global losses from deepfake-enabled fraud reached over $200 million in the first quarter of 2025 alone. One quarter, $200 million. Deepfake-enabled Vishing attacks surged by over 1,600% in Q1 2025 versus Q4 2024. This isn't a trend anymore. It's an avalanche. And while all of this is happening, the very phone network infrastructure that carries these calls into your home every day is riddled with holes so wide you could drive a truck through them. Chapter 5. The invisible highway scammers use to reach you. Here's something most people don't realize. When a scammer calls you, they're probably not in the same country as you. They might be on the other side of the planet, but your phone shows a local number, maybe even one with your own area code. How? Because of something called VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. It's the technology that lets you make phone calls over the internet instead of a traditional phone line. It's what powers apps like Zoom, WhatsApp, and FaceTime. It's also what allows a scammer in another country to appear on your caller ID as your neighbor down the street. To understand why this is so hard to stop, you need to understand how phone numbers actually work. Every phone number in the system is owned by a service provider, a phone company. That provider draws from a pool of numbers assigned to them and hands one to each new customer. Your number is tied to you through your carrier through a master database. But here's the critical detail. Not every number in that pool gets assigned right away. Some numbers exist in the system, registered, real, technically valid, but currently belong to nobody. No person, no business, no account. Those are unallocated numbers. And to a scammer with the right tools, they're a gold mine. Spoofing isn't magic. It's theft. A scammer picks a number, sometimes a real allocated one, sometimes an unallocated ghost number that's never belonged to anyone, and stamps it onto their outgoing call. The network sees a number that looks real, checks out, passes it through. Your phone rings. The number looks completely legitimate, because technically it is. The call authentication system designed to stop this, called Stir/Shaken, was supposed to be the silver bullet. Phone companies were required to implement it. But as we've already seen, with many telecom companies failing to comply, the gaps remain wide open. Scammers simply route their calls through the carriers that haven't complied. They slip through the network like water through a cracked dam. Every time regulators plug one hole, scammers find 3 more. Because unlike government agencies, scammers don't have budgets, red tape, or approval processes. They pivot overnight. They adapt in hours. They're playing a completely different game. And the most chilling part? Expect AI to play a role on both sides of spam calls in 2026, posing a threat in nefarious hands, but offering a solution in the right ones. The same technology being weaponized against you is also the only thing powerful enough to fight back. We are in an arms race between AI attackers and AI defenders. And right now, the attackers are winning. Sharon Brightwell sent $15,000 to a courier, gone within minutes. The financial damage was $15,000. But the emotional toll was even greater. Victims report feelings of betrayal, fear, and helplessness, and a sense of shame, particularly among older victims who feel they should have known better. She didn't fall for a scam because she was stupid. She fell for it because she was a mother. And the voice she heard sounded exactly like the person she loves most in the world.
Are you
That is what
all
we are
right?
up against in
Tell me
2026.
where you are.
Not just robots dialing numbers, not just cheap telemarketers overseas, but a sophisticated, AI-powered, globally organized machine, built to exploit the most human thing about you, your love for the people you care about. Voice cloning is no longer a niche trick. It has gone industrial. Share this video with someone you care about. Show them how to set up a family code word. Tell them what 3 seconds of audio can do in the wrong hands. Because the best weapon against this machine is knowing it exists.